I shouldn't have gone there. I knew better, but something kept pulling me back, as if the place was alive, hungry for my curiosity. It was a crisp autumn afternoon when I first noticed it. The abandoned school, hidden just off the main road, barely visible through the overgrown trees. I had driven past it countless times, never giving it much thought. It wasn't unusual to see old, neglected buildings tucked away like that, but this one felt different. Its broken windows, its sagging roof, and most of all, the playground. The old swing set was swaying gently, as if someone had just gotten off. But the school had been abandoned for years, so who could it be? I made a decision that I instantly regretted. I parked my car on the shoulder of the road and walked up the gravel path leading to the school. As I stepped closer, the air grew colder, heavier, and I felt an odd sense of unease settle over me. The trees surrounding the school seemed to loom like silent watchers, their twisted branches reaching out like fingers, their dry leaves crunching beneath my boots. I was no stranger to abandoned places. I'd explored old houses, forgotten buildings, even hospitals, but something about this school, it felt different, almost wrong. But still, I couldn't stop myself. I had to know. The front door was slightly ajar, and it creaked eerily as I pushed it open, stepping inside. The air inside was thick with the musty scent of mildew and decay. The floors groaned under my weight, and the sound echoed unnervingly in the silence. I glanced around, taking in the dilapidated hallways and scattered debris. But what caught my attention was the playground visible through the back window. The swing set was still moving. I walked toward the back of the school, my steps slow, deliberate. As I approached the window, I couldn't help but stare. The swings, 3 of them, swayed back and forth as if someone had just gotten off. No wind, no reason for it, just the creaking sound of the chains straining against their rusty hinges. That's strange, I thought. There's no one here. How could the swings still be moving? Suddenly, the sound of a child's laughter echoed in the distance. It was faint, barely audible at first, but unmistakable. I froze. My heart skipped a beat. I was sure I was alone, but that laughter, it sounded like it was coming from the playground. I stepped back from the window, my stomach tight with discomfort. Maybe it was just my imagination, or the wind carrying sounds from somewhere else. But something in the pit of my stomach told me I was wrong. I walked around to the side of the building and found the back door. It was ajar, too, just like the front. I hesitated for a moment before stepping through, the air growing colder as I entered the backyard. The swings were still moving, creaking, swaying. And now the laughter was louder. It sounded closer. I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand up as I looked toward the swing set. "Who's out there?" My voice came out in a whisper, but it was drowned out by the laughter. I turned, scanning the area, but the playground was empty. The rusted swings swayed, creaking under an invisible weight. A chill ran down my spine as I slowly walked toward the swings, my feet crunching the fallen leaves beneath me. I was almost close enough to touch the chains when I heard it. A soft, slithering sound behind me, like something dragging along the ground. I spun around, my breath catching in my throat. There was nothing there. Just the empty, decaying playground. The air felt thick, almost suffocating. My skin prickled with a deep, crawling sense of dread. But I had to know. I took another step toward the swing set, my eyes locked on the motionless swings. And then I saw it. A figure, barely visible in the shadows under the swings. A child, hunched and small, almost like it was waiting. I could barely breathe. The laughter stopped. The air went still. And that figure, no longer a child, but something wrong, moved. It was slow, deliberate, like it was crawling toward me, its head twitching unnaturally. I wanted to scream, but my voice failed me. My legs wouldn't move. I stood frozen, watching as the twisted thing dragged itself closer, its eyes locked on me. And then, in a sudden, terrifying moment of clarity, it whispered something in a voice that sounded like nails on a chalkboard. "Play with me." I stumbled backward, my heart racing, and finally my feet found the strength to run. I bolted toward the door, not daring to look behind me. I could hear the dragging sound following me, growing louder with each step. My breath was ragged, my chest burning as I scrambled to escape. I didn't stop running until I was back in my car, locking the doors behind me. I glanced at the school one last time before peeling out of there, my hands trembling on the steering wheel. The swings were still moving, their chains creaking in the wind. But there was no child, no laughter, just the emptiness of the forgotten playground. I don't know what I saw that day, but I can't go back. The memory haunts me. Every night, the sound of that laughter, the dragging noise, and those eyes, following me, waiting for me to return. Maybe one day someone else will find that place. But I'll never forget what it felt like, being watched by something that shouldn't exist. And I'll never go near that playground again.